안녕하세요, 여러분. 이게 제 한글 학교 레슨 1입니다. 안녕하세요. 조인하 선생님입니다. Nice to see you, or nice of you to watch this video. This online lesson is for first-time Korean learners targeted for upper elementary, so 5th grade, to middle school or maybe even high school. 한국말 처음 배우는 애들을 위해 하는 레슨입니다. So these lessons are for new Korean speakers and learners, and lessons I will be taught in mostly English. I'll have a couple Korean phrases here and there, but I will be explaining in English. Pretty simple. Let's move on. Now, let's look at an overview of Korean. 한국어 is Korean hard. Now, it may look different. It looks very different here. Like these are just some examples of me saying them on the PowerPoint, but it looks very weird and it can scare a lot of people away. But Korean is not hard in reading or writing. 어렵지 않습니다. Korean is very easy with proper memorization of sounds and symbols. It could be quite fun and it makes the language very easy to learn. Korean, as I said earlier, has a consistent system of sounds, and it is a mix and match, and that's going to make much more sense later on. And going further with the mix and match, the consonant and vowels in Korean create a syllable block system, which is the writing system we have. And again, you don't have to know this or understand this right now, but it will make a lot of sense soon. And today, our first lesson is going to focus on one of the two big pieces to reading and speaking letters in Korean. Alright, so let's take a sneak peek at basic Korean. So this is Hangul. Hangul is the writing system in Korean, and this is the alphabet table for basic letters in Korean. It looks cool, doesn't it? And then you can see little highlighting marks for emphasis in some areas. But this is a sneak peek. And we're going to be going through this slowly, one lesson after the next. 자, 일과, lesson 1, 모음. Today we are going to look at basic moums. Now, what is a moum? What is it? I've never heard of a moum before. Moums are one of the two parts in the syllable block system that I talked about earlier. And to put it very simply, moums are vowels. So, vowels? Oh yeah, the A-E-I-O-U thing? What does that have to do with that thing? How is A-E-I-O-U in Korean? There's nothing like that. I've seen no English in Korean, right? But moums are vowels in a sense that you will have them in every single word. So in straight out translation, it is vowels. So what do they look like? 모음이 어떻게 생겼나요? Let's take a look. Alright, you see here? It's all the moums put together. You'll see this again in a larger picture as well, but I wanted to share this out quickly to show how they look like. Yeah, this is how they look like. Look pretty cool, huh? Now, moums are really, really important. It might be the most important thing to learning Korean Hangul, the writing system, but it's also really, really easy. For now, let's try speaking them and seeing how each one sounds like. It's important to learn and memorize the sounds of each moum since moums are in almost every single letter it's in every single letter in the Korean alphabet or Hangul. So it's important to learn and memorize them. So let's see how each one sounds like. So this is the overview. That's how each one's gonna sound like. Now let's go into more emphasis. The highlighted or the underlined section of the English examples show the pronunciation of how each moum will sound like. So let's look at the first one right here that I circled just for us. For ah, it sounds like how the letter A would sound in the word father. Ah, father, and so on. So ah, the father, ah. That's how it would sound like. Pretty simple. I think a lot of you guys have seen how dictionaries like pronunciate words with its letters. This is what it's basically doing for Korean here. Let's look at another one. So let's look at this one, for example. Yaw. So this is yaw. And then young, this young part, that's how you pronounce it. Yaw. And there's also like pronunciation of the letters right here on the top if you're having a little trouble. Yeah, so that's how you learn how to pronunciate moms. Let's look at an easy way to memorize. There is a YouTube video that goes over all the sounds. So let's take a look together.
A, Ya, O, Yo, U, Yu, U, Yu, Ư, Y. A, Ya, O, Yo, U, Yu, U, Yu, Ư, Y. A, Ya, O,
O,
Yo,
yo, o,
U, Yu,
yo, u,
U,
yu,
Yu,
u,
Ư, Y.
y.
A,
A,
Ya,
ya,
O,
o,
Yo,
yo,
U,
o,
Yu,
yo,
U,
u,
Yu,
yu,
Ư, Y.
y. Alrighty. That's all the basic moves in the Korean Hangul system. This video has good exercises and correctly pronounces the moves that we went over, so it's a good thing to take your time on it and do it yourself as well. And you might be thinking, what are those circle things? That's not what we looked at. Look at this. That we don't have any circles or like that weird looking letter thingy on that. What is that? Why is that on there? And you're like, do not worry about that. I'll be going over that in the next lesson. The and while they look different, have the same pronunciation. And I'll talk about why it is like that in the future. But don't worry about that. Just worry about the sound and what this mom looks like for them. And then make sure to keep correctly. If you're ever confused about which sound goes with which, you can always look back here for reference as well, and it'll teach you very well. Alrighty. So writing moms. Now writing may look even tougher because I've never seen English speaker probably has never seen a writing system like Hangul, but writing in Hangul is actually even easier than saying them. It's ridiculously easy. So usually all moms are simple 1 to 3 step writing. So let's take a look. So this is the order of how each one will be spelled like. I'm going to be going over each one at a time, slowly for everyone to see. So let's look at the first one, ah. So the first one is ah, and we can see here it goes 1, 2. So let's try writing it ourselves. So we can go into paint here, and then I'm going to press the pen. 1, 2, ah. So what we saw here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Very, very easy, isn't it? I think most people can do this, just not even told. You could even just copy the shape if you wanted to. Now let's take a look at another one. Yeah. Yeah. The second one right here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Very easy. It's very easy. Even easier than memorizing because this is just shapes, isn't it? Let's look at the next one. All. 1, 2. All. Once again, very easy to do. And then finally, let's look at one more. Y'all. So we go back here. 1, 2, 3. Y'all. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Very simple. Good job. You learned how to write Hangul. Moms. Let's go. If you ever want to look back on this slide for reference, I'll keep it up here for a couple seconds. These are all of how you write moms in very simple steps. Also, some Koreans penmanship, like people with like penmanship or like writing styles, they don't exactly write in this exact order, but this is the textbook examples of how to do them. If you learn how to write these shapes even without the steps, that's actually alright as well. Yeah, that's Hangul moms. Alrighty, that's it for today. See you next time. Make sure to memorize. Moms are half of the building blocks in the syllable block writing system, and we're going to learn about that more in the next lesson after we learn the second half of the writing system. Learning them and memorizing them is super important. It's very important. It is probably the most important part of learning Korean Hangul. The key strong point in Korean is learning how the shapes and the sounds match. It's a memorization game. It's a mix and match. So make sure you memorize aya, oya, oyo, uyu, I. A, ya, o, yo, o, yo, u, I. So for example, if I said you should know which shape is. So for example, if I said to you, I'll write this, that's the first one, right? And then if I went further, ya, I'll write this. So this mix and match game of learning which shape is which sound and memorizing the sounds and the shapes and learning how to write them. Alrighty, that's it for today. See you guys. Bye bye.